my voice to educate and engage my peers on the Uluru Statement from the Heart. I'm able to stand up and be counted in the ongoing advancement of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people within our industry and also on the social platform. By the way, I'm also an IDP alumni, so congratulations. It has not always been like this for our people. Many of our ancestors did not have a voice, they were not heard, and most of them were not counted. Aboriginal people have been advocating for rights and fairness for a very long time, gathering our people, educating them, standing together, presenting signed petitions to the government, to royal families, to political parties. We have rioted, we have picketed, we have marched, we have walked together, we have walked alone, we have sat peacefully, and we have supported each other. In 1937, Billy Cooper, a Yorta Yorta elder, presented a petition with 2,000 signatures on it. He gave that petition to King George V. He wanted land rights, he wanted citizenship of his own land, and he wanted seeking representation in Parliament. The Prime Minister of the day deliberated and said no good purpose would be gained if he presented this petition to King George V. It was rejected. In 1963, the Yolngu people presented a series of bark petitions to the government, the Giyakala bark petitions. The petitions asked for an inquiry and recognition on the importance and significance of Arnhem Land to the Yolngu people. These petitions, because of their significance, have been registered with UNESCO in the memory of the World Register, and they hang in Parliament House. In 1972, the Larrakia people, triggered by the Wave Hill Walk-Off of 1966 and the referendum of 1967, presented a petition to Queen Elizabeth II asking for help to achieve land rights, treaty and political representation. Now, doesn't that sound vaguely familiar? With more than 1,000 signatures, and for those who could not read or write their own names, they used their thumbprints with paint pushed onto that petition to identify the marking. They had a scuffle with police and the petition was torn, so it was not presented to anybody. The organisers of that petition and the Yolngu people repaired that petition. They sent it to Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace received that with a note from the Yolngu people apologising for the condition of the petition. They then presented that petition to the Governor of Australia. The Uluru Statement from the Heart was, for those very reasons, was not presented to any political party. Instead, it was presented to the Australian people. It calls for three things: a constitutionally enshrined voice in Parliament, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people speaking on behalf of us for the things that concern us. A treaty, Australia, the only advanced country in the world that does not have a treaty with its First Nations people. And truth-telling about our past. Australia has a black history. Our stories were not written in any books. Instead, they were removed from their families, they were hung, they were burnt to the ground, they were murdered, and they were not spoken about. It is time to recognise and acknowledge our past in order for healing, in order for reconciliation, and in order to be a better nation. Truth, treaty, and voice. In the words of the Uluru Statement from the Heart, in 1967 we were counted. In 2017 we seek to be heard. We leave base camp and start our trek across this vast country. We invite you to walk with us in a movement of the Australian people for a better Australia. Thank you.